And good morning. Welcome to the Hawkeye session. Today is Tuesday, November 24th, and we'll be gone till, well, we're going to be gone at least until 9:30 anyway. We're going to try. We may go longer, depending on what we can find to take trades on. And let's get the disclaimers out of the way. Trade in the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trades taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. So, having said that, we shall go to the charts. And we have not received any alerts from IRIS for the last, since Friday, basically. So the only thing I know to do at this point is to, let me just make sure I got my screen sharing here. Yep, everybody see my screen. So the only thing I know to do right now is to see what we can do with maybe the RCS tool to try and find some trade possibility setups. Also, I have the harmonic alerting system that gives me some alerts, which is what we're looking at right now. There was an alert. I said we have not had any IRIS alerts since, oh, wait, did we just get one?
Did we just get one? I'll have a look.
Oh, 3:45. No, that was it. No, that was still Friday.
Yeah,
That was still Friday. So anyway, we have, I did get a harmonic alert for a Gartley pattern on the harmonics of New Zealand USD, which I've drawn out here. And basically what that does is it has basically it's several wedges all kind of combined together in a pattern based on amount of percentage of pullbacks on different movements. So anyway, this is the harmonic pattern. And so when we do this, basically what we're doing, I'm looking at this trend line, which we drew from a higher time frame. But right now, this pattern is saying to take an entry to go long down here around the 69, 68 area. Now, what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at if it breaks this blue line, this bottom blue wedge line, breaks, comes down, closes, and it may come down to give us a test of this D area. Now, the only problem with that is there's only 7 pips between the break of the wedge and where the entry is. So if we did take the trade, I'm looking at this area and here being the trap area where it comes down and you take your trade, get profitable or get into the trade. We have a very tight stop here of, you're about 7 pip stop to the stop. And so if it comes down here, we may try and take this trade and then see if we can get our 7 to 10 pips to the upside. And right now you can see it's bouncing off this trend line right here on this 5-minute chart. The other one we had, which was the same type of scenario, was with the Aussie US. It's a little different pattern. It's a little bit steeper pattern, but again, we have the trend line, which is our X2. Actually, I'm looking at this as just basically the bounce off of this trend right here. And if we get the bounce here, here's our target, our entry target. Now this may give us a little bit more room to the downside if it breaks from here. That gives us 23 pips. So if we get a break of this bottom trend line, we may have a trade on the Aussie US. And let's just see what we have on the. Now, if I were to try and draw a wedge around where this period is right here, I'd be looking at, we have a nice, here's our trend line right here. Here's our AC line. So this is the upper part of the trend. This is the lower trend. Let me just tweak this a little bit on this one.
That looks good, Al.
This one right here where it is?
No, down a bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean the wedge that you just drew.
Yeah.
This might be tradable. I think I would slide it off the X.
Slide it off the X, which way?
Yeah. Maybe bring it to the next. No, maybe not that low.
If we take that, we could take this as a hit, and then we could use this for the, so here's an anchor, here's a hit, big move out, coming back, retesting this trend line, which is this area right in here. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, still. You see right after the X, there's another low. Maybe try putting it on that one.
On this one?
Yeah. And then dropping it a bit.
You still have that hit. Should take it right to there.
Yeah. Just let it breathe a little bit. Now I would tend to trust that one when whatever happens.
Okay. I will agree with that. That looks good. It's close enough. This is pretty much almost like a double bomb. It's a slight. Actually, here's your. It came back and retested where the X is, pulled back, didn't quite make it through, and then it took off. So that was a nice little move there. Kind of came back, formed our 40% retracement of the high, came back up, made a new high, and now it's starting to come down. But here's where the target is. So if we can get a break on this line right here, this would be the target, which you can see is just a little bit above where the X is. And so that's what the best thing we have going for us right at the moment. And come back over to New Zealand. We have the same type of thing. We may want to tweak this thing a little bit too. Let's go to a 50-minute chart. And this was almost like a little upside down head and shoulders pattern there. I'm just going to take this thing, since this thing has been somewhat breached, and we're really looking at this area right in here. Let's just take it from this area. And I would say I like the X, where the X, we'll just take this little trend here and see where it can pick up this point. This looks an awful lot like the Aussie trade, Aussie pattern, which comes as no surprise. Here we had a little touch of the trend line. This is a nice and strong move down, basing right here, and then come down to possibly, if it breaks that, we may be able to have a trade on this. Again, this is only from the break here to down here. That's only 8 pips. I would not take it short, but I would look at maybe possibly taking it long down in this area. I'll bring this over here to where the X is. That gives us a nice little zone. It's basically the break of this point, have our trap. This is right where the end of the D is. And if we get in here and it stops us out, it stops us out. But the risk reward is pretty good. You have the risk, if you get here, you get stopped out here, but you have the whole up move for targets.
Excuse me, Al, we've got a question.
Yes.
An IRIS, as it turns out, an IRIS alert question. Beach Panda is saying, am I the only one whose last alert was on November 20th? No, you aren't.
You're not.
And then he says, if so, is there any indication when the IRIS alert system will be back online?
I have not heard any word either way. I'm going to probably investigate that a little bit when we get done here to see if there's something going on with the alert system, or is it just that the market conditions are such we're not getting alerts. It is rather unusual not to have any alerts on the IRIS 2 days in a row, especially, I mean, I could see maybe after Friday, maybe not having any, but certainly all day yesterday and all last night, I would expect to see something.
Yeah, so, 2 days is too much.
Yeah, that seems that something's suspicious there. Something suspiciously going on there.
When we get 10 to 20 a day.
Yeah, so we'll try to investigate. If we don't get any this morning, hopefully they're aware of the fact that there's a problem, if there is a problem, and we'll see what comes about with that. But yeah, it's been so I said the only thing I can do in these sessions, since we don't have any alerts, is just I said we'll try and use our RCS tool. We'll use these harmonics and see if we can just find some patterns on our own. See if we find anything that's worth trading. We had a couple patterns yesterday that worked out very nicely, and so we'll just take it from there and just we'll try and be creative here today in our technical analysis training. What I can do now is I'm going to set an alert. Well, let's see. I'm going to set an alert on this if it triggers this. Horizontal. This way, if it comes into our trap area, I'll just move this thing up a little bit. If it comes into this area, we can maybe try and take a long on that one. Let's see. Let's take a look at our RCS tool and see which currencies are the strongest and which ones are the weakest on the multiple time frames. And I'm looking at the Aussie, not so much there. The British pound, that's pretty much in the middle. I'm not seeing anything that's jumping out at me. The US dollar seems to be the strongest on the 15 and the 5. Could maybe trade the US yen. The yen seems to be the weakest, so we could possibly trade the US yen. Let's take a look at the US yen.
Beach Panda says, then Auvoria Prime needs to consult with you on how you have perimeters to find wedges with the RCS and other tools. That's my free bonus advice, LOL.
Okay, yeah. Well, I said with this room, especially, basically this room is turning into more and more of a, I mean, we use the wedges as our basis of what we're looking for. But it's really a room to be able to teach technical analysis, to find out how to trade manually. Even if you're using EAs and alert systems, you still need to kind of know, it's still helpful to know how to trade manually along with some of these things.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's also going to be the game changer. You know, when you're able to make consistent profits manually trading, then you don't have that FOMO of having to try to push the software so much harder than you want to, and then you can be a little bit more conservative with automated systems, if that kind of makes sense, right? There's not that requirement to make that much more money.
It's always nice to have, as we say, it's nice to have several streams of income. One is if you have some EAs that are running that you just pretty much set it and you just manage it for a few hours or 30 minutes to a couple hours a week. You just turn it on and let it do its thing while it's, because a lot of the foreign exchange market, a lot of the moves happen in the middle of the night when most of us are sleeping. So it's nice to have something that's sort of minding the store while you're sleeping to be able to take the trades, and it has algorithms that works, and they for the most part it works really pretty well. There's that stream of income. The other stream of income is to have an alert system that says, okay, here's the setup. What do you think? Which is pretty much what IRIS does, but you still have to know how to trade it, because you can still lose your shirt if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to the technicals. And even with the markets in general, with the EAs, sometimes the EAs they're optimized to a certain type of a market, and when that market changes, they work or they may not work as well. And sometimes there's you can see whether a market is not working in the same way that it was optimized, and then you just maybe scale back on your entries or scale back on your lot sizes to make those adjustments. But the only way you know how to do that is if you know how to trade manually. So
Absolutely.
if you can do some manual trading, you have some EAs running, and that's sort of like a win-win situation. So anyway, that's my spiel on that. Manual trading is still
the end goal, really, right?
Yeah, it still comes down to you still whether you have an EA or whether you have manual trades, it's still amount of personal responsibility that you have to accept when you send these trades. Because as they always say with the disclaimers, is don't trade money you can't afford to lose, and we're not giving advice. We're just showing you some things that. But there is no holy grail, and I've been looking for the holy grail for several years and still haven't found it yet. So just keep that in mind. And that's one reason why we have this room, that we're just trying to help people learn how to trade on a manual basis. Now, having said that, we're looking at the US yen. And as we were looking at, we were seeing that the dollar was the strongest when the yen was the weakest. So right now you can see where we had the nice strong move up here on the yen. And right now we have move up. Here's a little bit of a wedge coming up, but right here at the top of the move. So I would be a little bit leery about taking this thing long when it's up here at the top of where this has been a 3-day range that it's in. If you look at this, I mean, you can see where the wedge, how it's going to probably start consolidating. Now the question is there enough room from the top to the wedge to the bottom of this wedge to make it worthwhile taking a trade if it were to break out the bottom? And with that, there's basically 24 pips, which is enough room to take the trade. But we see we have this little wedge. So I'm going to draw this little wedge right up in here. We see all of our moving average are moving in the right direction to go up, but we have a nice, this is the anchor, here's your hit, and we have an area where we could possibly test this, the top of this wedge, go to a higher time frame and see if it breaks to the top of this, what's our target going to be? And you always want to try and know where your target is before you take the trade, because you have to see if there's enough room to make the trade worthwhile taking. So if I look at this on a higher time frame, and I look over here, you can see this is an area right here where there's consolidation. It came down. You can see where it went sideways, came back down, and now it's retesting this sideways region. If I were to take, we have this area right here. This one's not really confirmed. So I'm going to just take that as a regular trend line that needs to be broken. But we have the up move from all the way down here. So this is still valid, but now we also have, this is the higher time frame trend. I'd be looking at from this point to this point, and pretty much, let's see where this lies. Yeah, and we're coming right up into, and you can see where you have a little triangle, right in this little area right here, we have a little triangle. So I'm going to be looking at, this is going to be our supply zone using this wick for our supply. I'm just going to take the wick, because if it does break through here, it's probably going to come up, and there are no wicks to speak of on this 4-hour chart. But once it breaks where this triangle is, it's pretty much clear sailing until it gets up into this region. So I'm going to call this supply. It may get up there, it may not. It may break, it may not. We don't know. All we can do is project. Look at our 30-minute chart. And I said this area right in here is where I'm concerned, where I see that there's could be a little bit of a trap in here. Here's our trend line from the higher time frame trend. Here's our, this is the area that it's had a nice wick, came back down, retested this area. Now it's coming back up to retest it once again. So from this point, I'd be looking at, let's see, let's just move this thing over here. And we're going to flatline this on the top. Actually, I'm going to take it from this. You can see where this little wick right here, this would be a wick that you can see where there was a strong rejection off of this area right here. So if there was a strong rejection before, there's probably going to be, and that came all the way down to which forms the bottom of this. So you can see where this could be a possibility of having a harmonic as I look at this, where we have a harmonic from this low to this high. Here's our B. Here's our C area, which has come up and retest it, and then could come back down and retest the A right about in this area. So I'm going to be looking that this could be a possibility. We don't know if it's going to be that way or not. But if it is, I would be looking at having the trend line be from this A to the C area. And then if it falls down, it would probably retest this level. And then if it can break this, it's going to come down to possibly to the D area. So we're going to be looking at this real hard on a 15-minute chart. You can see it's spacing right in here. So it's either going to break through the top or it's going to, now here's the trend. Here's the A, here's a high, here's a lower high. This is where you could start getting your harmonics. And really the risk right now on this, if it were to break this trend line here, this would be your trap. Now we've seen this a couple of times this week where it came right up and tested that, and it didn't hold. I'm going to take this one off just because it's just a little more confusing here. We know there's a little wedge area right in here. This is forming a wedge. Now if I come over to my 1-minute chart, let's tweak this stuff up a little bit. Let's see where the A is. Make sure the A is sitting right in a good spot. Pretty close. Here's our wedge. Is if we can get a break of this, if we get these moving averages to cross over, and see what kind of risk levels we have. If we get the break, which we seem like we're starting to get a break right now, that's only 4. There's only 6 pips up to the C. And let's see if there's anything over here that I like.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
When we're sitting waiting for something to happen, would you take a moment and show Leslie how to get the 4 RCS charts up? She says that she's tried to do it and she can't.
Oh, yeah. Which version of TradingView do you have, Leslie? Do you have the Pro Plus? Or just the Pro? Or do you have, what version do you have? Pro Plus. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's what you do. You come over here to see this little select layout, and you just click on that layout, and you put this onto the 4. This is the most charts you can get with the Pro Plus version. That's the same version I have. And you just click on this. This, and that gives you your four charts. And after you get that, let me go back to my 3 so I don't lose what I'm doing here. And then when you go to once you get the 4 charts up, and you click on this layout, you make sure you have symbols, crosshairs, and drawings, these all checked. And that way, when you change a symbol on one, it changes the symbol in all the others. And then you just come over here and just set the time frame that you want, like this one I just put for a 3 hour. I can change it to a 1 hour if I want to. And it'll come up. It takes a little time for it to propagate. Now, what I did with this, I kind of changed it. Basically, you could just there's a couple of things you can do. You can just click on where the RCS is, and just double left click your mouse twice, and that'll just put you up just that. But every time you leave the chart and reload the chart, you'll get all. They have to do that. So what I just did is I just scooted this the price chart up. I just moved it all the way up as far as I can to keep us on the bottom. That way, this thing's always. That way, when I reload the chart, it just comes back up like this. Because I don't really care about what the indicators are or the price action. I just look to see what this is. Did I answer your question? Hopefully. If not, let me know and I'll see if I can make it a little clearer again. But this is the area where you get the 4 charts. And then just make sure your symbols, you have the symbol clicked, so that way, if you have this unchecked, it's only going to put the symbol on whatever chart. So if you put have that symbol clicked, you'll get the same symbol propagated on each chart. Kind of liking this for a short here. If it comes, let's see, what time is it right now? It's 8:25. I put a vertical line here at 8:30. I'm liking this as a little triangle. We're starting to get the break of this wedge. We had the test. This was sort of the test of the. Now, if this thing, depending on where this thing closes, we may have look for a pullback up to the wedge. Let me go on the 5-minute chart and see what we have over here. Here's the nice strong move up, came back down, retesting it. One thing with these harmonic patterns, what I've also noticed is that if you have a harmonic pattern, usually at the end of the pattern, you get another harmonic. And so I'm kind of looking at this right now where you have here's your XA, B, C, and then this would be the D down here. So, but if you can get this, the XB area, and we don't know where this thing's going to end up. It could be down here, but you have another little harmonic. Let me change the color of this just to show you the difference.
Oh, excuse me. I thought I was muted.
And so right now it looks like the X to B. So if we have another small little trend here, I'm using this. This is basically our wedge. And we're starting to get the breakout here. And once we get this breakout, we look for the retrace back up to the wedge. So we'll see if this thing closes. And let me go and put another little trend line here. This is the one that we were looking at for our enter zone to sell. And we're going to just pull it down a couple pips. So right now that's at 57. Let's go to 55, 54, right around in there. The other option we have is we can be looking at, actually just take this little arrow off of that. Looks like it has a nice little break, and we'll just see now if we can get the close on a 5-minute chart here. See what time do we have. We have 1 more minute. This could be actually a good trade here. Now I drew this harmonic. This was not a harmonic pattern type harmonic. I just drew this one based on what I was seeing. Although there was a harmonic pattern found. And that's this one right here. It's a little bit different than what I drew. This one was drawn earlier this morning, but you see where the C was, but see how it broke the C? I would say this one is not really valid. I'd be waiting for another pattern. Actually, I like the one I drew, but actually I like the one that I drew better. But this looks like a nice area where it's coming up, challenging the A, and we could have come down to, but this one's saying it's going to come all the way down to here, and then this would be target 1, target 2 to the up move. But we have to clear through all this. We like trying to catch these C moves off of the XB trend line. When it breaks that, if it can break this trend, if it can break this trend right here, we have a lot of room to this point. If it comes down here, that would be a nice target from up here. But if it can break that, that's when you're looking at this target down below. And actually, the S&P did that just yesterday. It took a little while for it to happen, but it did it. And those are some really nice moves if you can catch it. And I do like this little wedge up here. It's coming up, and we have, this is the trap that I'm looking at, this being the trap up in this area, which is pretty much what we drew. I'm just gonna put that one aside. Let's go back to our chart.
Yeah, just confirming that there's no alerts yet that we have received for AIRIS, so we're just making do with what we've been given.
And what I'm looking at on this one, let's go over to the 1 minute chart over here. I'm gonna take this one off here. Let's see where our moving averages are on the, our moving averages on the 15-minute. You can see they're actually in the wrong direction because they're still, it's going to be a while before before all these moving averages on the 15 are going to flip over. But in the meantime, we're starting to get the flip over on the 5 and the 13 on the 5-minute chart. We're getting the flip of the moving averages on the 1 minute chart. Right now, you see, right now it's all consolidating. So I don't want to take it short yet, but once we can get this pullback maybe up to the line, if we can get this 5 and 13 to flip back over so that we have a yellow, green, white, it's going to have to break through this again. But this would be an area that we could be looking at possibly. We draw the, let's see, where's our trend line here? Let me put this trend line back, tweak that in there. This is a little pull. Here's a break of that trend line coming back, pulling up. We have the hook. And if you were to take this, you'd probably want to keep your stop relatively tight. If this is a good bounce off this trend line, you should be okay with this for a stop.
Yeah, we've seen that happen too often, right?
Yeah, and that's only 4 pips. So you have that's a nice tight stop, nice little trend break, and this thing's starting to. We have a lower high. Here's a nice wick up top here. I think I'm okay taking this thing short. I'm going to swing the bat on this one. If I can get my chart up here in time. Get my broker up. Connect.
That's an interesting bounce out right on the 62.
Yeah. Well, they haven't quite flipped yet, but I do think it's
no, but it's still in the they're all in the direction to go along, aren't they?
Well, there's still, yeah, but you're so far up that, I mean, it may come up and retest the top of this, and that would be a possibility. Looking at some of the other indicators that I'm using, I do like this as being a short. If I look at this on a 5-minute chart, Let's look at our wedge. And remember, this purple line up here is pretty much where the trap is. So that this, and it still hasn't really come up and retested the trap zone. So it may not be quite ready to break down, but it's getting close. Let me just move this out of the way for clarity. We don't have the moving averages crossed over on the 5-minute yet either. I'm going to do a sell limit up here to at the trap area, which is going to be the 104.55. 10 pip stop, 14 pip target, limit order at 104.50, 104.60. Actually, I like 55. I'll keep that at 55. That's not right. Let's put that out. Sell limit. $104.60. Try that. That's better. Put it right up here. Stop would be the other side of the trap, which should be on the right where the A is. So the stop would be 104.64. I'll tweak that on up. And the target should be, now we could actually keep our target all the way down here to the blue line. That'd be a nice little trade. We may not want to go for all that much, but we'll see what happens here. Any questions so far? And so this is just one that we found with our RCS tool. It looks like a fairly decent, nice big move. It has a nice wick at the top. The dollar strength. We also see now the dollar is starting to weaken a little bit. It was all up here on the at a 7. Now it's down here at a 4. So it is starting to show some weakness with the dollar. Pretty much have a double bottom right here. If it breaks this, we've hit at 52, all the way down here where the A is, that's at 48. That's only 4 pips. So it's still going to need to kind of clear the A. But this would be an earlier entry. If it comes back in, you could maybe do a sell stop. Off this level right here. As we drew this wedge, we had it right on this part. Maybe move that over side here a little bit just to spread it out a little bit. It's pretty much the same area where this is. There's just a little bit of a higher low off this wedge. So it's still consolidating a little bit. Any questions? Any comments? As this thing's making lower highs and higher lows, you can still maybe just put this triangle right up here off this trend line where we had for the AC on this alleged harmonic. And the first target could actually be right here with the 5 minute 62. You can see where the 15 minute 62 is, and that's going to be right here. I say it's got to get through all that. Probably need to get a little bit of a flip on the moving averages off of this on the 15 minute before that happens. So mark our 62 levels off here. So this looks like this would be a nice little zone where it may possibly come back in to retest. If it breaks, it could possibly come down and retest this zone. This sort of makes its own little zone right in here. And you can see that where this move started, there's no red candles all the way up to the top. And so if it does break, it's going to be coming down, and it's probably going to come back and retest this little area here. And as the time elapses, this moving average is going to keep on creeping up, which will bring this thing up a little bit closer. It probably will be up around this area by the time this thing comes down, breaks down. So this would be a zone. Another confirmation, another method of looking to see where a target could be. We have a couple different supports to that level. Maybe check our Fibonacci zone. See, there's a green zone right there. That's another. So you have two moving averages. You have a price action of a rally, base rally, could come back down. It's very likely it's going to come back down and retest this area. We have a green fib line, and we have two of our 62s there. And we wait and see.
I'm just going to answer Leslie. It's easier if I just talk this way instead of typing to her. Leslie, just go in and under your inputs tab in the settings, select auto. You probably have symbol only selected right now. Select auto and all 8 of them will show up.
There you go. Yeah. And they should be on a 14 period, not a 200. If yours is showing 200, change it to 14. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you here. On this symbol, should be 14 here. On the input, should be 14 in auto. Yep. And the style, these are just the colors. You can choose your own colors. I like using the blue one for the USA. And you can make those whatever color you like.
Beach Panda said, Al, red for the euro. Is that a political statement or just preference?
I just thought it was easy to remember. I like blue for the USA. So I just went with that. And I figured, well, euro is the next one that we usually tend to trade against, the euro US. So I thought red, blue, and then white was, I'm not sure what I made white. Actually, I think I had the British pound white for a little while, but I just changed that to make it purple. I do know that everyone that's blue down here, I know that's always the US. And I said, you can turn these labels on and off. You can just do that with your settings and just come over here with, actually I like have my session break, but you can come over here. I think it's the symbols or scale. Let me see the scales. And here it goes where the indicator values are, indicator name. If you put the names on, you can see where it puts the name on down here. The problem with that is when that's there, then you have all these up here. So I kind of just remember what the colors are, and but I try and clean this up a little bit because sometimes it just clutters up the list a little bit. And let's see what else I'm looking at here with the Euro US. It's not quite ready to break down yet. I do have a feeling it's going to come up here and retest this target area. And you can see as the price goes to the right, you'll see the slope is slowing down. So I can actually bring this down a little bit to keep in line with the top of the trend line.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that going short anymore, Al.
Well, I like the fact it's coming up into that, breaking up into that supply zone, that higher time frame zone. Mm-hmm. Plus, we have a blue fib line right here as well.
That would be interesting.
So let's just see here. If let me get my, I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me put it on the 1 minute chart and see where our fib lines are. I'm going to turn these on. I'm going to put a 15. Actually, with the US yen, I like using the 5. Let's see if there's any 15-minute lines there. There's a green 15-minute line right there. 5. Here's a red line. So basically we have a, so I think these are all 5 minutes, I believe. Yep. So we have a blue 5. We have a red 5. And it should be the range about, and this should be 12 pips. And then if it does break, we have a, like I said, we have the green 5 right down here. Let's see what this trend line here off this, see how this looks. Here's anchor, here's a hit, here's a hit. If it breaks this, it could come up and retest the upper part. That's only 3 pips. And we can kind of tweak this one a little bit. Still support and still making a little higher highs, higher lows, lower highs. It's just spooling up. And we're coming up on 9 o'clock, so we may start getting a little bit of a movement here in another few minutes, as we've experienced before with these 9 o'clock, when the 9 o'clock candle closes. It's maintained this trend line pretty well right here. If we can get a break of this, I think we could be looking nice little trade down below. There's not going to be a whole lot to stop it once it gets down So I have to get through this A section. So still looking for the target up, the entry up here.
Beach Panda says the US yen is not too far off its yesterday high as we come into the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah, that's one reason why I like this trade, because it's coming into yesterday's high. I believe we were looking at the other possibility of where the targets would be for these higher time frames. So this is our supply zone right up in here. Now it could very well break this area. But we'll see. I'm going to take a little shot at this one. Just because it has such a real strong overnight move. This will be this is the range. And actually, if it does break this, at 17 pips, the upside, you could always reverse your position and then go for this target. I do like this nice strong move up. A lot of times you get a strong move up right into the trap. This is the 9 o'clock move. Whoa. That was aggressive. And we have our alert doing the New Zealand.
Yeah, it was kind of big.
There's our New Zealand's coming right back into our entry. We'll see if this one can come through. Right now, this is at a stop zone. If you took it right as it came in here, you'd probably be just about getting ready to get stopped out. Let's see what this candle does. This one just stopped moving. What happened there? Well, the dollar found some strength somewhere.
Somewhere.
I blew right through that D marker. So that trade's, if you got into that, you got stopped out on that. And the US yen is, as I said, if you got stopped out, you may want to take it long. This is the area that you're looking at now. Looks like 104.84.
Yeah, I just got my 2% in UJ, so I'm gonna try to not trade any more today, unless something nice looks up. But I've got a position that's still running, so it's a smaller position.
Let's see where the possible target for this New Zealand is. Right now, if it broke through here, so this thing could go all the way down to the 69.30 area. Nothing looks, there's no wicks at all into this move. So could the next, it'd be a retest down to this area right in here. No, this is no longer valid. Trap's no longer valid. We missed the trap. Went blew right through that at the 9 o'clock open. But it was a small stop. That was the nice thing about that.
Yeah, there's no harm in putting a tight stop if your entry looks all right. I mean, that's par for the course, right?
I thought it was worth a shot. Let's see where our 1 hour chart is here. Let's just take all the tools off of that and see where we're at here. Go to a 4 hour. Again, this was the area. This whole line right here is a whole clear sailing. So it's right up until this area, the 104.84 area would be the place where I'd be looking for a target right now.
Hi, Janine. She says, good morning, all. I haven't been in the room for a while, but was wondering if anyone else has not received any notifications. No, you're not alone. None of us have. She's asking, or did I miss an update notice or something? I have not gotten any alerts since, last Friday. Yeah, that's, we were going to be looking into it after the session. None of us have received any notifications at all from my IRIS.
So what we're doing today and what we did yesterday was we're just looking for some trades on our own using the RCS tool and also using the harmonic pattern notifications that I get. I said right now we're looking at this for the target. This is the supply zone. This is the wicks of a 4-hour chart. And we'll see if it gets up there. We had a nice little wedge here, but it just blew right through it right at the open.
Are you in this one, Al?
I reversed my position to go long on it. I didn't get it on the chart here, but yeah, I did. I am in it long right now, looking for a target of the 104.84 area. And my stop right now would be right here at the bottom of this area. This, if it comes back down, it could retest this rally base, rally, come back and retest this zone right in here. So this would probably be my stop zone. Looking at the 5-minute chart, there's kind of your wick over wick area right in here. This would probably be the retest area. So there may still be a few more buyers in here.
Well, it's 9:15. Al, what did you think? Did we want to take 5, or you can?
I guess the question is, do we want to keep on? Let me get a show of hands. How many people want to keep on going, or how many people want to? So we're not getting any alerts today. Do you want to keep on doing what we're doing? Give me a raise. If it's a yes, raise your hand. If no, don't raise your hand. We have 1 hand raised. 2, 3, 2.
I do. I don't. Oh, Jannar, he has to go soon.
Okay. Well, there's a couple people that want to keep going, so we'll keep going.
Okay, so
yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a 15-minute break and be here for when the market opens up, and we'll go for another half an hour or so and see what market gives us.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, we shall put the break screen up and we will take a break. Okay, we're back. I guess my mic was off. Market is now open, and we'll see where it takes us. Looks like this New Zealand, I said, came right down to broke through the D, broke through our entry, took out the stop. I don't know if it's going to make a new harmonic or not. Now, I do have one for the US Swiss. Looks like we may have something there. Here's a US Swiss. This is on a 15-minute chart. We just coming in off the C. And so we'd be looking at seeing if we can get a break above this XB level. So we'll wait and see. And we have the AC point. I'll go and draw this on our trading view chart and see what we have.
So Beach Panda, that's a great question about previously the indicator that was named bag. We're not sure how that's all gonna play out yet. Did you hear anything else, Al, about?
As far as I know, it's still coming.
No, but I mean, like, are we gonna kind of include that as like into our?
I think it'd be included in the marketplace.
No, like what I'm saying is, are we gonna be maybe teaching that one as well, or are we gonna keep this
I don't know that
exclusively
we
AIRIS?
will be teaching that. The whoever's developing will have sessions just like they do, like with the variable and gearbox. The developers will probably have teaching sessions on how to use it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's going to automate it as an EA or if it's just going to be a manual trading device like Iris. That one I'm not sure about.
I believe my understanding was is that it's going to be a manual trade alert idea. So
If it is, I don't know that I have I have used it. I was in the beta testing on it, and I have used it. And I was successful using it. So I don't know. I don't know that I would qualify as being a coach for that product, though.
oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
And we could maybe incorporate the alerts with our technical analysis and see if it makes sense or not. That might be a possibility. Okay, so with this U.S. Swiss alert, we had the X was down here at the 430, which is right about here. So this is where the harmonic is on this one. Let me just clear this off. And we'll draw the harmonic. It's 430 to the high, to the low here, up to the C, and come down to a target of 9074. 9074, which is right about there. Let me change the color of this. And let's go to our lower time frame charts and see what we got. This is the XB. Tweak this and draw our trend line. X to the B. And we have our trend line up top. And our trap would be up here at the A to C area. And then we wait. We can bring this down to just above where the trend line crosses where the price may come up to. Or where the price may come down to take it short. We do have our 30-minute 62 sitting down here, so I'd be more apt to say try and catch it up here on the short side, come down to take profit on here or down to the 30-minute 62. And put this down as the target area. Target 1 area. And target 2 would be all the way down here. And let's see if there's a fib line down there anyway, if there's anything down below.
Well, to be honest, AIRIS wasn't really developed with Susan. She was just trading it. I don't think she. I don't know. I wasn't under the impression that she had any influence in the changing and updating of it, but I could be mistaken.
I don't think she does. I think she's just a coach like we are.
Yes. She was just the first coach.
Yeah.
And now there's about 8 of us now. There's a German coach as well, and there's quite a few, so. But she is doing a lot of the onboarding stuff. So that's something I am aware of.
Onboarding for Auvoria Prime in general?
Yeah. Just in general.
Let's see, the stop on this one would be 90.62. Which is right at the green line, green fib line. And target would be up here. And target was 90, target entry 90.74. So what I will do is I'm going to put I'll get logged in first. I'm going to put a sell limit up here around the trap area. And make that right around the 93.33. 90, let's see, 90, 91.33. Target's going to be 91.19. And the stop, I'm going to make the stop the top of the trap, plus a couple pips, 91.37.
Peach Panda says, but you guys aren't just a coach. You are the coach for the elite squad. That's so nice.
Well, Peach Panda, you're too kind. We try our best to do. I didn't want to take a trade there. Why did that take that? Let me try this again. I got my sell limit 91.33. What's the spread? 91.33 is a sell limit. Take profit's going to be 91.19. I don't know why that took that trade. What did I do wrong? 19. Stop.
What, the US Swiss?
Yeah. I had set up for 91.33. It wasn't anywhere close to that, and it got me in the trade. Stop at 18.
Spread?
No, there shouldn't be that much of a spread.
No, I guess you're right.
That's a little better. If it comes up here, I'm in, and If it breaks out of the bottom here, then I may just go short to try and grab it down to the target down below.
Is that an actual harmonic scan on US Swiss, or is it?
Yes, yeah, this is a harmonic scan. Came out.
Oh, okay. Well. Do you remember what the pattern was? Was it a
Say bullish crab is what they call it.
Oh, okay. So that has about a 37% chance to get down to the D.
Okay.
Which is still pretty good considering, because now we also might have a trade for the break of the wedge, right? Break of the wedge, the width of the wedge. That is a 75% chance. So if you're stacking your probabilities, you're in a good place.
Yeah. Now, I say it may not get all the way down to the target, but I do believe that if it comes back down, it's going to retest this area right in here. And so we can catch it, if we can catch it short up here at this AC, if it confirms this AC area. If we can get the entry in here. Basically looking at to break the, see if we can come in or get a wick above the high of this area, which is going to be right there. Now it may not come up, it may not penetrate the top of this enough, but no, we'll see. I like having my entry just a little bit below that area. That way I'm okay with that type of a, we look 90.33 to 91.37. That's only 5 pips. That's your 5 pip stop up there. That's not bad at all. And if I look at for a fib line, is there a fib line anywhere close by on a 5 minute? Let's see a 2 minute fib line. Let's see what 2 minutes gives us. Here's a green, red. So this is our 7 pip region right through here. Right now it's looking like it came back down, it's retesting this green fib line. Passed it, came back, checked it, passed. Right now it's checking it again. And if we can get the break of this trend line through here, we might have a little bit of a trade to maybe catch a few pips, but it won't be a lot down to our target area. And maybe get our 6 pips. The target on the upside is 91.13. This is a target. If it does get all the way down, if it does get all the way down to our entry, this would be the first target to the upside. And we're going to change this title of this target 1 after entry. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave my target. Nope, never did enter. So let's see what happens here. If it breaks, some people would wait till it broke this wedge before they would go and shoot for the bottom one down here. Well, let's see. Let's see. What do you think, Matt? Is this one going to go?
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go. That's a pretty big move on the downside, but I don't like how small the scale is. So I'm still not taking it, but
We'll see how this candle closes here. Yeah, that'd only be 8 pips to the top of the wedge on this one. I'll take a shot at this one. All right, now it's looking like all systems go, except we didn't get filled. Didn't come back and fill us yet. Yeah, see how all of our moving averages are in the right direction on the 1 minute. Let's see what they look like on the 5. And we're trying to get the crossover at the 5 minutes should be here. They're all consolidating. They're all bunched up together right here on the 5 minute. Did have the break below the 62. That's a good sign. And on the 15 minute, we're looking at Moving averages are pretty well all bunched up. We're also getting the cross of the 5 and 13. So this could be a nice little trade coming down here. It has potential. It's got this the 30 minutes 62. It's got to get through that. But once it gets through that, it could work. 9098 is another number. This would be this would actually be target 2 after the entry down below at the D level. It did get us in the trade. On that note, we have about 4 more minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. Last minute questions, comments, requests. If not, we'll wait till the 10 o'clock candle closes, and then we will depart the pattern here and see everybody tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Looks like it's starting to break down. Came back, retested the wedge. Did get me into the trade. This could be the first target down here, which would be it's got 6 pips. If it gets down to the 30 minutes 62. And as far as the RCS tool goes, we're showing Swiss strength on that, on the 5 minutes, Swiss strength on the 5 minute, and strength on the 1 minute. So we got Swiss strength on 15, 5, and 1. And dollar weakness. The dollar is still fairly strong on the 15, but looks like it's starting to switch positions a little bit. And look and see if my Fibonacci zones give me any warning where to get out on this thing. Here's a blue wave, a blue trend line, Fibonacci, bouncing off the 30 minutes 62.
Looks like that might work out for you.
It might. We'll see if it has enough strength to the downside to catch that D area. I'm not sure about that one. Although it has a nice strong move. That this is the area right here where I'm looking at this target area. If I come all the way over here, and if I put this target up around where this red wick is here and the lower wick of this whole range there, that would be the target, which puts us right pretty much in line with where this entry is. I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to go, this is a demo platform, so I'm just going to go for, I'm going to go for the 39 pips on this one, see if it'll get down there and take it. We may see what it looks like tomorrow when we get in here. So one more minute and we will see. This is going to be the 1 hour close coming up.
See you later, Beach Panda. Full sails, calm seas, and gentle breezes to y'all. Carpe diem.
Absolutely. Well, we'll
Yeah, we're going to
talk
wrap
to you
this thing
guys
up.
all later.
Yeah, thanks for coming in today, and hopefully we'll have some alerts tomorrow. I did put a message out to the company and see if they know any information what's going on. It sounds like they're checking with the developers. So hopefully we'll have some alerts by tomorrow. And until then, we'll see you later. Have a
All
good
right,
day.
take care, guys.
Bye, guys.